Business, you're still on Prime Morning, and talking business today turns our attention to a very important part of our lives that we tend to not look at so much. The human body is anchored by the spine and the backbone. It keeps our function and it keeps us upright, and without that we will not be as productive. The 16th of October is set aside as the day to highlight the importance of the spine. It's the World Spine Day. And joining me today to have a conversation about the importance of the back to business and to our productivity at work is the founder and CEO of Nova Wellness Center, chiropractic and wellness business here in Ghana, Naa Asheley Dordor. Dr. Naa, good morning, and thank you for making time to join us.
Good morning, Nhyira. It's great to be here.
Great. So on Friday, we all celebrated World Spine Day. What activities did you get up to?
So on Friday, what we did, we had a webinar right here at Nova Wellness Center. So we had about 100 people who got online, and we talked about how to keep your spine healthy. As you rightly mentioned, World Spine Day was October 16th, and it is a day set aside to throw more light on spinal conditions. There are so many spinal conditions that affect people on a day-to-day basis. Especially, we threw more light on the worker, the industrialized worker of 2020. A majority of people are sitting for long hours under very stressful conditions with poor posture, and so on and so forth. So on Friday, we had a session online, and what we did was to educate people on how to maintain a proper spine, especially whilst working, how to remain active. You know, many of us are sitting for very long hours, 6, 7, 8 hours non-stop, and research is showing that there are so many diseases that were not that common 20, 30 years ago. But now, because of what we call sitting disease, which has become very popular, so much that it's been given a name, sitting disease. So we spoke to people and we educated them about how to maintain proper posture, one, and then also how to avoid prolonged sitting so that you don't develop depression, chronic lifestyle diseases like hypertension, diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol. All these things, research is showing that is going up, and they are relating it to the prolonged sitting that most industrialized workers these days are doing.
Right. Now, let me just share a few facts that I dug up about back problems by the American Chiropractic Association. And it's estimated that in America, they lose close to 264 million working days, which is 2 full days in a week that people don't go to work because of back pain. The other thing is that at least $50 billion in healthcare cost is attributed to back pain. If you add in the lost wages and decreased productivity, that number rises sharply to over $100 billion a year. Now, we don't have the data here, but our society is evolving, and we are middle income. A lot of people are beginning to, do work that is sedentary. What are some of the demographics that you see affected the most? Because back pain was a thing that if you heard someone say they had a back pain, you would jokingly say you're getting old. Is it still an old person's problem?
Not at all, not at all. It is everybody's problem now, even the kids, and that's even more concerning because especially now that a lot of kids are home. I have 2 little girls. I know you have 2 boys, Nhyira, and they have these gadgets, and if you don't have a good parental control, kids are developing more text neck. And text neck is the condition where you have that chronic flexion and your head is down all day, every day, like that for hours on end. So the kids have these gadgets that they are hooked onto, and they develop text neck, as well as adults. We're on our computers. Some people have done ergonomic assessments, and I'll see people who have 2 or 3 monitors, and then they also have their phone. They also have a tablet, and they are just stuck in that posture. So yes, like you rightly said before, when you hear back pain, you're thinking the person is older. But I have kids as patients, unfortunately, that have developed back pain due to some of these extended use of gadgets, and then also heavy school bags. Yes, some kids have to carry very heavy school bags to school and back, Monday through Friday. And this is also causing back problems for these kids. So my demographics as far as patients starts from young ones, even toddlers, all the way to the elderly. The middle-aged, obviously, would be the larger amount of that. The office workers, 30 to 45, and then those who are getting closer to retiring also. And then it's funny, I have a group of people who will tell you, but when I was working, I didn't feel anything. But as soon as I retired, then I started having all this pain. And then the question is, what were your activities before you retired, And that's why we don't have to wait till, you're 50 or you're 60 before we start making these changes. It is absolutely key that we all get the right information as to how to keep our workstation safe and healthy, so that we're able to be productive and work very healthily throughout our working life.
Now, you mentioned that children at home, of course, because of the measures to mitigate the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19. What has that taught you, or what has been the trend since you resumed work after the lockdown? Have your patient numbers gone up? Are you seeing more and more people? What kind of professionals are you seeing more of?
Oh, yes, there has been a surge of back pain in the last couple of months. And I think what is happening is a lot of people are working from home. And obviously, working in the home environment is not the same as working in an office. So you have people who are having different types of chairs and tables. People are working on their beds and so on and so forth. So I think there has been a surge in neck and back pain because you may not be able to create that efficient workstation at home, and people don't even have the right information. So I have seen a surge in musculoskeletal diseases over this pandemic period, and I would attribute it to a lot of people working from home and not having the right equipment, the right workstation to support their spine whilst working.
Wonderful. Now, one of the things that has been of major concern is the environment in which people work in. You talked about the fact that at home, one may not necessarily have the right office setup in terms of the ergonomics to ensure they're working well at home. How can businesses ensure that they are improving spinal health of their workers?
Great question, Nhyira. So information again. Employers, MDs, HR managers, this is the time to get creative. What we strongly recommend for companies is to have some form of an ergonomic assessment done for your particular company. That way, you know exactly what you're working with. We don't just want people to go off and buy new chairs and buy new desks and do all that. But there are simple things that you can do, not expensive things. One of the favorite things I recommend to most companies is laptop raisers, for instance. It makes a world of a difference when you just elevate your laptop. Sometimes you can have like a TheraBand, simple rubber band, which you can use to do simple exercises right at your desk. What we're recommending is that people make very small changes. Can you get up every 45 minutes to an hour and walk around? But most people don't know until you have a proper ergonomics assessment done. So that is what we recommend for companies, that you have a qualified person or a professional, an ergonomist, for instance, come in, take a look at what you have, then they can make recommendations for you. And if you have staff that are working from home, they can also be assessed. Thankfully, COVID has taught us that we can have meetings on Zoom and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So in the same way, you can simply have your staff at home take pictures of where they are sitting to work, and you'll be amazed at the things that you would see. I've had people tell me, I remember I had a young lady who is breastfeeding, and so she told me, yes, I'm sitting on my bed with my baby breastfeeding and working at the same time. Wow. And I'm wondering, no wonder you're in severe back pain. So I think that companies should take a step further. Especially, don't forget about those working at home. I've had people who have had to procure ergonomic chairs for their staff that are working at home. So you have to start to find out first what is happening, and then once you know, you can go ahead and take the steps to correct the things that are not right.
Right. So experts are estimating that 80% of the world's population will at some point have back pain. I'd like us to focus now on what individuals have to do to promote spinal health.
Great. Yes, absolutely. 80%. And that's a large number. Very, very big. That's ridiculous, and we all have to do something about it. So what do individuals have to do? First of all, you have to make sure that as much as possible, you're keeping your spine upright. So you're avoiding what we call chronic flexion. So any posture that you go in by bending. So you can bend your head, you can bend your shoulders, you can bend your lower back. Anytime you go out of that upright posture, you need to know that you're putting your spine in a very, very bad shape. And doing it once a while is not too bad, but it is the persistence or every day, 5 days a week for the next 20, 30 years, if you're stuck in that chronic flexion, then obviously by the time you retire, it's going to be a problem. Your spine is not used to being in that posture. That is not the natural posture, okay? Your spine always wants to be upright. So whether you are seated, whether you are standing, whether you are sleeping, you need to have an upright posture as much as possible, and that's what we all need to focus on. Whether you are sitting or you're standing or you're laying down, how can you maintain that upright posture so that your spine is straight? Then also you want to see how well you can keep moving, okay? We all hear the phrase, motion is life. Mm-hmm. Motion literally is life, and for your spine as well. So how can you constantly be moving? Here at the clinic, we have things like the wobble disc, even the exercise ball. Same old exercise ball that you use at the gym. You can have one right under your office desk. And then every so often you can just pull it out sit on it, and just sitting on the exercise ball itself is an exercise. Literally, because you have to hold your core when you sit on that ball. Otherwise, you're going to slip and fall.
That's right.
So doing that alone is a type of exercise, and we strongly recommend this for people. Just take a walk. You know, if you're in a building where you have the choice of an elevator and the stairs, remain active by taking the stairs instead of using the elevator. Can you walk whilst you're on a meeting on your phone? You know, instead of just sitting down and sitting yourself to death, you can just walk in your on your compound whilst you're on a Zoom call or you're on a phone. One of my favorite things to use is what we call a TheraBand. Okay. So this is just a piece of rubber. And again, you can use it to do so many different exercises. If you have shoulder pain, for instance, you can stretch all the way up. You can tie it from your back, and then you can pull your head back like that. Let me show you this way. You can pull your head back. So to reverse that forward head posture, which we get from the chronic neck flexion. So all these are very simple things. And I know, you know, with the situation we have, companies are very concerned about the cost involved when you have an economic assessment or when you want to introduce these changes. But trust me, a lot of these things don't cost much. But the effect of not doing them is what the problem is. You just talked about the cost in the US. Absenteeism. If you talk to a lot of HR directors like I have, they'll tell you most people are not coming to work because of musculoskeletal diseases.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Naa Asheley Dordor, for the insightful conversation. We're grateful. And if you want to find out more, you can find Nova Wellness Center on Facebook. I think it's Nova Wellness Center. You can learn more about how to ensure that your back is serving you well. Well, I've been asked to walk and move about, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Information brings illumination, and it's time for me to say goodbye. Daniel Dadzie will be coming your way with a big conversation in a moment. Stay with us for the duration and keep watching Joy Prime.
Introducing Nestle Milo All-in-One Nutrimix. The goodness of malt, milk and cocoa in Milo, and even more milk. Just add to water and enjoy the perfect cup of winning energy.
Milo!